What father does is always right. Now, I'm going to tell you a story which I heard when I was very small. And every time when I later remembered it, I thought that it became more and more beautiful. It happens with stories as it does with human beings. Some of them grow more beautiful with age, and that is the delightful thing of it. You have, I'm sure, been in the country. You have seen a genuine farmstead with its thatched roof and moss and herbs in its garden. There's a stork's nest on the gable, the walls are crooked, the windows low, and only one of them can be opened. The baking oven looks like a fat little belly, and the lilac tree drops its branches over the fence. Right beneath the knotty willow tree is a little pond with a duck and some small ducklings. Oh, yes, and there is a chained dog who barks at everyone. There is such a farmhouse out in the country, and it is there lived some people, namely the farmer and his wife. They owned very little, but even of that they could spare something, and that something was a horse, which grazed in the ditch by the side of the road. Father used it for riding into town. The neighbors borrowed it now and then, and reciprocated occasionally with one good turn or another. Perhaps it would have been an advantage for the farmer and his wife to sell the horse and buy something that would be still more useful to them with proceeds. But what could that be? You know best, father, said the wife, for there's a fair in town. Go there and let them give you money for that horse, or exchange it for something useful. Whatever you do, be right. Just go to the fair. And then she tied his kerchief around his neck, because that is something that she could do better than he. She made a double loop, which looked very smart. Then she brushed his hat with her flat palm and kissed him tenderly. And so he went off to the horse that was to be sold or exchanged, because father knew best what to do. The sun was burning down, and there was not a cloud in sight, for the road was very dusty indeed. Many people were traveling to the fair, carriages, on horseback, and on foot. It was extremely hot, and there was no shade on the highway. One man was going along, and he drove a cow before him. A cow as beautiful as could be. That cow would supply delicious milk, thought the farmer. That would be a marvelous exchange if I could get her. Look here, my friend, he said to the man who was leading the cow. Let us have a chat. You see, a horse is dearer than a cow, I believe, but that does not matter. To me, a cow is more useful. Shall we make an exchange? All right, said the man with the cow, and so they exchanged. After that, the farmer could have turned around and gone home, for the deal had been transacted. But he has made up his mind to go to the fair, and he decided that he would go, even if he were only had to have a look. And so he went along with his cow. He walked at a good pace, and the cow walked at a good pace, and soon they were walking next to a man who was leading a sheep. It was a nice sheep, and well nourished, and with a fine coat of wool. I should like to have that, thought the farmer. He could graze nicely in our ditch, and during the winter we could take him into our room. It might be better to have a sheep than a cow. I wonder if I should change with the man. Yes, the owner of the sheep was not adverse to the idea, and the deal was made. The farmer walked along the highway with his sheep. Then he saw a man who carried a big, fat goose under his arm. That is a heavy animal you've got there, said the farmer. That goose has feathers as well as fat. She would look well in our yard by the pond. Mother would enjoy collecting scraps to feed her. How many times she used to say, if only I had a goose. Now she can have one. And she should have one. Would you like an exchange? Yes, ma'am. I'll give you my sheep and my sincere thanks. Yes, the other man would like to do that, and so they exchanged. The farmer took the goose. It was quite near town, and the crowds on the road thickened. Humans and animals abounded, and they all walked along the road and across the ditch and into the toll collector's potato field. The toll collector had tied his chicken to a tree so that it could not fly into a panic or lose its way. It was a short-legged hen who blinked with one eye and looked nice. What? She said. I'm sorry, I cannot tell you what she was thinking, but I can tell you what the farmer thought when he saw her. This is the prettiest hen I have ever seen. She is prettier than the vicar's breeding hen. I wish I could have her. The hen will always find corn. She can practically look after herself. It might be a good exchange if I could get her instead of the goose. Shall we change? He asked. Change? Said the old man. Yeah, why not? and so they changed. The toll collector took a goose, and the farmer got the chicken. The things he had achieved on his journey into town were simply marvelous. Now he was really warm, and he was very tired. Drinking a bite of bread would do him a world of good. As he was not far from an inn, he decided that he would stop. That very moment, the steward of the inn was trying to walk out. He was carrying a sack that was filled to the brim with something. They met on the threshold. "What have you got there?" asked the farmer. "Rotten apples," said the steward. "Oh, sackful, all for the pigs." "That is an incredible amount," said the farmer. "I wish Mother could see it. Last year we only had a single apple on our entire apple tree at the bottom of our gardens. We were going to save that apple and keep it in a chest of drawers until it burst." "Apples are wealth," said Mother. Here she would see some wealth. It would be a wonderful sight for her. "What are you going to give me for them?" asked the steward. "Give you?" said the farmer. "I'll give you my chicken in exchange." And so he gave the steward the chicken and took hold of the apples. Then he walked straight into the inn and right up to the bar. He placed a sack of apples against the stove, but there was a fire in the stove, and he had not considered that. There were many guests at the bar, floor sealers, ox drovers, and 2 Englishmen. Later, they were so rich that their pockets were bulging with gold coins, and they were making bets. Just listen. There was a hissing sound near the stove. The apples had begun to crackle. "What is that?" said the English gentleman, and the farmer told them. He told them that of the horse he had exchanged for the cow, and so on until he got the rotten apples. "Well, Mother will box your ears for that when you get home," said the Englishman. "There will be a devil of a row." "Oh, no," said the farmer. "I shall get kisses, not boxes on the ear. My mother says what father does is always right." "Let's bet," they said. "Heaps of gold coins." "A whole bushelful will suffice," said the farmer. "I offer you a bushelful of rotten apples in exchange for myself and Mother on top, but that is more than enough." "Done," they said, and the bet was made. The innkeeper's carriage was brought along. The Englishman got in, the farmer got in, the rotten apples were rode on, and that is how they drove along the dusty highway right up to the farmer's house. "Good evening, Mother." "Oh, welcome, Father." "I've made an exchange." "I knew that you would do the right thing," said the woman, and she hugged him and completely failed to notice the sack and the strangers. "I exchanged the horse for a cow." "Oh, that is lovely," said his wife. "Now we can have milk dishes, butter, and cheese. What a good exchange." "Well, yes, then I exchanged a cow for a sheep." "That is even better," said the woman. "You are always so thoughtful. You have just enough grass to feed a sheep. Now we'll have a sheep's milk and sheep's cheese and warm woolen stockings and nice warm bed jackets. We would not have had that from a cow. You are such a good provider." "But I exchanged a sheep for a goose." "Lovely. We can have a goose for Christmas this year. Dear Father, you think of nothing but how to give me pleasure. What a nice thought of yours. We can leave the goose in the garden and it will get even fatter until Christmas comes along." "But I exchanged the goose for a chicken," said the man. "A chicken," replied the woman. "That was a clever exchange. The chicken will lay eggs and she will hatch them and we shall have pullets. In the end we shall have a whole chicken run. I always wanted to have one." "Yes, but I exchanged a chicken for a sackful of rotten apples," said the farmer at last. "You really deserve to be kissed," said the wife. "Thank you so much, dear husband. Now I'm going to tell you something. When you were away, I thought of a lovely meal I could prepare when you return. There was an omelet with chives. I had eggs, but there were no chives, so I went over to the schoolmaster. I know that they have chives in their garden, but the woman was very mean. I know that. I asked her if she would lend me some chives. And lend, she said. Nothing whatsoever grows in our garden, not even your apples. There's nothing I could lend you. And now I see I can lend her 10 rotten apples, even a whole sackful. That will be a joke, Father." And she pressed a hearty kiss on his mouth. "We like that," said the Englishman. "Down and down you go, and cheerful you remain. That is worth a lot of money." And they gave a bushelful of gold coins to the farmer who got kisses from his wife and not boxes on the ear. You see, it is always a good thing when a woman says father is a clever man, and what he does is always right. You see, that is the story. I heard it when I was a small child, and now you have heard it too. I know full well. What father does is always right.